point when a revolution occurs, the police and the people always unite. That's what they want to stop. They want to divide the people and the police. Let's start shortly. Jen, do you want to come up here, or are you going to start?
Sure.
Ready?
Do you want to call this?
Jen, did you start?
I don't know.
All right, we can start.
I got you.
I'll just start then. Hey,
You want to just take one? Or?
Hold this for me. Thank you, Kristen. All right, welcome. I just want, we're streaming live on, Kristen, you can stand right here and hold it like this. You can just, hold it straight like this. No. Got it? Okay, is that good?
Yep, you're good.
Is the sound all right? Got a simple sound system today. I just want, Jen, if you could just show people on Instagram and Facebook and where we're are we doing on Periscope, Jen? John, are we doing on Periscope? Jen, are we doing Periscope? Let me do this. Do we do Periscope or no? We'll do it later?
Yeah, later.
Okay. Look,
Unless you can do it. Can you do it?
today
Can
is
you do it from your
Saturday.
phone?
It's about what, 5 p.m.? And look at the number of people that showed up within literally about what, 48 hours notice. Come on in. We have created a movement in this state for truth, freedom, and health. And that movement is spreading like wildfire. It's spreading like a virus. Okay? A good virus. And what I want to talk about today is a couple of things that I talked about on the Boston Common. This tour that we're doing is a Truth, Freedom, and Health tour for innovation and no forced vaccination. Innovation and no forced vaccinations. It's really about the right medicine for the right person at the right time. What's happened in this country over the last particularly few months is a set of people, the elites, are wanting to control people. And what I want to educate everyone on today is a couple of things. Excellent. Do we want to win Truth, Freedom, and Health, or do we just want to talk about it?
Win.
I don't know a lot of people who want to win. Do we want to win, or do we just want to talk about it? Do we want to stop forced vaccination, or do we just want to support people who've been talking about it for 15 years and making money off of it? What do you guys want to do? We want to really stop it. We want to win. And in order to win, you have to understand how you win. Because if we don't understand how we win, we're going to be repeating the same things, and we're going to be suffering generation after generation after generation. We have to understand the physics, the engineering of how to win, right? Anyone a plumber here, or electrician, a carpenter? Anyone? All right, got one there. Anyone trained person here? Okay, we got more people here. Look, anything that you actually do that has skill, you have to understand it has a process, right? You learn how to ski, there's 100 ways to do it, but after a while you learn there's a few ways that really work well, right? And that's through experience. You fall, and then you learn what's the right way to do things. Well, for far too long, we've been falling. And there have been people who've been making sure we keep falling and never win. And those people are the people that we need to figure out who they are. Charlie Baker, for example, the quote-unquote Republican, has worked with his Democrat friends to impose forced vaccination. Is he a Republican? Is he a Democrat? No one knows. He just endorsed a Democrat congressman. So, this left-right stuff is made to divide us. BLM on the one side and police is made to divide us. Black and white, that's what they do. So in order to stop this, we have to come down to figuring out the truth and how you change it. So the first thing I want to talk about is the fact that there's so we're going to talk about the physics of revolution. Revolutionary change, because that's what we want, right? We don't want things to slog along for another 20 years and we all get screwed over, right? We want to end this forced vaccination today. In order to do that, we need to understand how change actually takes place and how it has always taken place. Change has always taken place when people come bottoms up. Mass movement, us, working people rising up. It has never occurred Robert Kennedy. Okay? And I'm here to tell you this because I owe nothing to the Kennedys. I don't get moved by their pictures. I don't care about Camelot. This is the stuff that they brainwashed all of us by. The Kennedys. The Kennedys are the institutionalized, not so obvious establishment. Let me repeat that. You have the establishment, Hillary Clinton, vaccine queen, right? You have the Bushes, you have the Romneys, you have the Obamas. You see what I'm saying? Those are the obvious establishment. Opposing the obvious establishment is us, who show up on a Saturday at 5 p.m. Opposing them are people who showed up today at the Boston Commons for a rally of over 100 plus people showed up. In spite of supposedly the rain was going to come, the other group, the Robert Kennedy group, said, oh, we got to wait until we have sunshine. You see, that's fair weather friends. That's not how change occurs. You fight when there's rain or shine. Right? You fight whether there's rain or shine. You don't wait until the conditions are right. You make change occur. Right? Okay, so you have us who want to come bottoms up. You have them who are the obvious establishment. In between, the establishment, by the way, is very, very clever. They're very clever. You know what they do? When we start protesting, when we start coming up, you know what they create? What's that? They create a counter movement known as the not-so-obvious establishment. The not-so-obvious establishment. The not-so-obvious establishment. Everyone got it? And the not-so-obvious establishment gets to manipulate you, brainwash you, that they're going to do change. And in this forced vaccination movement, for 15 years, organizations like Children's Defense Fund, organizations like Health Choice, Fake Choice Health Choice, has been telling all of us, don't worry, we're going to take care of it. We're going to do backroom negotiations with the Democrats. Don't piss them off. Don't do demonstrations. Don't do protests. And they told mothers, some of you here, don't carry those signs. You don't want to upset the legislators. These people want to control even a protest movement. We'll do it only when the sunshine comes up. They do it when they can get enough people to manipulate for the optics. You follow what I'm saying? Everyone getting what I'm saying? You gotta get this. Because if we don't get, it's obvious to see Hillary Clinton's part of the establishment, but it's harder to see someone like Robert Kennedy Jr. This is a guy who endorsed Hillary Clinton 3 times. Endorsed her 3 times, who is Miss Vaccine Queen. She got funding from Bill Gates, $100 million for the Global Initiative. Is friends with Bill Gates, and you got a guy, and people say, oh, well, he says some good speeches. No, it's not what people say, it's what they do. He endorsed Hillary Clinton. He endorsed Hillary Clinton. No excuses. And this is what we got to start doing with the people we elect for leadership positions. Are they one of us, or are they one of them? Are they one of us, which means everyone here works. We serve customers, we have a job. If we don't solve a problem, your kid gets in trouble. If you don't solve a problem, you're out of work. If you don't solve a problem, your businesses go under. They, lawyers, they make money by prolonging and creating problems, right? Cha-ching, 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 they bill by the hour. The longer the divorce goes on, a longer a dispute goes on, they make more money. 70% of Congress is lawyers. Why are you voting for them? Why? You gotta stop doing it. You're in an abusive relationship. Okay? It's like you keep excusing them. That's what you're doing. You know, you ever been in an abusive relationship? Ever? And you finally say, oh my God, I gotta get out of this. No more excuses. No more rationalizing their behavior. And the day you do that is the day that you win truth, freedom, and health. That's how you win. You do not compromise. And we've been compromising ourselves way too long. We don't deserve to compromise to them. We don't deserve to lower our standards. We got to rise up and believe in ourselves, that we value ourselves. And look at all these people that have shown up. Jen, you want to just show all these people that have shown up? And the reason we've shown up, everyone tell people, you got millions of people listening out there. Okay? And this is in Worcester, Massachusetts, which is the center of working people. Everyone here works. have people like in Cambridge or in Swampscott, people like Charlie Baker, who think they are the king. This country is becoming a new caste system. A set of people on top who think they know better than all of you, and we're supposed to fall in line. And that's what this forced vaccination is about. It's really not about vaccines. It's about how much will you taking away your freedom. First, they hit you with the mask, right? They just start wearing the mask, then stay away from your fellow human beings, social distancing, and now they want to inject you, and they want you to lie down and take it. You cannot comply to this. You cannot comply. If you do that, it's game, set, match, and it's over. And in order to win this, you got to figure out what leaders you're following. It's easy to do it when it's sunshine and calling people. That's what these fools are doing tomorrow. They're fooling people. What we're doing is we're taking this on the road. The no forced vaccination and the innovation movement started in the Boston Common, Worcester, then we're going to Springfield, then Great Barrington, then Pittsfield, then North Adams. We're taking it everywhere. We're not doing it for the TVs and the optics. We're doing it to build a movement, right? We got to build a movement. We're not doing it for NBC to say, oh, there's a forced vaccination, no forced vaccination movement on the Common. Click pictures, and those foundations make more money. They call you up and give me my money. Robert Kennedy charges $30,000. In New Jersey, with all humility, we won. For 15 years he's been involved in this movement. In New York, they lost the movement. In California, they lost. But in New Jersey, why did we win? Because I said we need to go bottoms up. We need to be loud, lots of people, and we need to build a movement. You know what? They got so scared, they didn't pass that bill. They didn't even bring it up. That's how you win. You do not rely on the Kennedys, because when you look at the history of the Kennedys, in 1962 is when the Forced Vaccination Act, or the Kennedy Vaccination Act was passed. 1962, by John Kennedy. John Kennedy signed the Vaccination Act, and by the way, it's not pro or anti-vax, but the CDC and all those entities within them got created, which created the guidelines, which said young kids all needed to get 32 vaccines, 72 doses, the same, and if you didn't, you didn't go to school, right? That got done by the 1962 Kennedy Vaccination Act. Then, what happened? People were starting to get injured. Hundreds of lawsuits being filed in federal court. What happened? What happened? In 1986, after 14 years of, 24 years of the stale policy, which was one-size-fits-all medicine, which is against science. Everyone here has a different immune system. Everyone here has different genetics. Everyone here has different epigenetics. And you're talking to someone who got all those degrees, who's considered one of the leading guys in the world on the immune system. And I got my MIT PhD, and that's a big problem for them, because they can't call me, he's a fringe guy. So Wikipedia, racist Wikipedia, calls me conspiracy theorist. And by the way, we're suing them. We're going after them, okay? We go after these guys who don't let them get away. Anyway, so what you have is the 1986 Act, 1986 comes, and the next Kennedy, Ted Kennedy, sponsors a bill not to eliminate the 1962 Kennedy Vaccination Act, but to keep it going by creating the National Vaccine Injury Program. Everyone know this? You know what that did? That basically created a beautiful wall for the pharma manufacturers. And what it said was, all of you people who are getting injured, you cannot sue them. You can't sue them in federal court. It protected them. And it's quite amazing, they were able to create their own courts. Okay, it's amazing. Called the Vaccine Court, which isn't even part of the judicial system, part of the Constitution. They created a vaccine court under Health and Human Services. Can you believe this? Can you believe this? By the way, an establishment guy couldn't have done this, because they said, oh my God, he's against us. They had a Kennedy do it, because you've been taught the Kennedys are all nice people. They're not nice people. They get away with rape, they get away with murder, they get away with deceit. Why? Because we've been brainwashed by Hollywood. Nice pictures, that's what they do. It's a brainwashing. So after 1986, what happened? Well, now pharma companies could basically, by the way, vaccines are not regulated like even pharmaceutical drugs. They're not the same thing. They don't need to go through all that testing. That's what's happening your child gets hurt, guess what? You're no longer not suing them in federal court. You got to go to this little puny court. And if your child dies, maximum of only $250,000 liability. That's what happened. Brought to you by Ted Kennedy and a couple of other friends. And since then, we've been begging. So what do? They said, okay, you can get some religious exemptions. You can get some medical exemptions. And here comes Robert Kennedy, Jr. He's going to be the savior. What does he say? Oh, we're going to negotiate for you. No protest. They stopped the HCMA organization, which is running this bogus rally tomorrow, because they saw us, our rally's coming up. What do? Now they're getting involved in the protest. Now, after they told people like Jen, after they told people like Richard, don't protest, don't do signs, you're going to upset the legislators. You get what I'm saying? Everyone understanding these people are sellouts. Now they see people getting angry, so now they're going to jump into the protest movement. Why? Not because they won't believe in bottoms-up movement, because they want to control it top-down. All right? This is the not-so-obvious establishment. And this has been occurring throughout history. And you're looking at someone who studied revolutions, who studied change, just like I studied physics and science, like I did at MIT, those 4 degrees. I'm very interested in stuff. I studied who Karl Marx was. What did he mean by revolution? What did Che Guevara mean? What did Thomas Paine mean? Because I really wanted to understand them objectively. And what I learned was, these people who spoke the word revolution, most of it was top-down. A few set of people doing it. But the real revolution was bottoms-up. Bottoms-up. And when it comes bottoms-up, they don't know what to do. Because it's decentralized. It's uncontrollable. You can't control it. So you start creating lots of leaders. And that's what this movement is about for truth, freedom, and health. And it's founded on innovation. What science shows is we need the right medicine for the right person at the right time. One size does not fit all. I'll repeat that. The right medicine for the right person at the right time. So I'm training all of you guys to have this talking point. So when some foolish MD with his Harvard logo says, oh no, vaccines work, you can tell him, oh really? Okay. So you're telling, ask him, do you know what right medicine for the right person at the right time is? Question 1. Ask him, does one size fit all medicine work? Ask him that. And ask him, does he know what precision medicine is? And personalized medicine, which is what modern science has showed us. We need to find the right medicine for the right person at the right time. And they're not going to be able to answer you. Because most MDs have big egos, nice people, but they don't know anything about the immune system. They learn a little bit of it. So you're looking at someone who's considered an expert in the world on it. I was invited to give the prestige lecture at the National Science Foundation. So you've got an expert right here. You're getting a science lecture right here. So I'm certifying all of you in understanding what the most important principle is. The right medicine for the right person at the right time. Is that clear?
Yeah.
So forced vaccination is anti-science. It doesn't make sense. How can you tell everyone to get the flu shot and then mandate it? So who does this ultimately serve? Who does it serve? It serves Big Pharma. And people like Bobby Kennedy, by the way, the Democratic Party and the Republicans are now all part of it. The parties are, not the people. Republican people, Democrat people, we're all the working people. Okay, so I'm talking about the parties. What have they done? They told people, typically, the government is very clever. They always want to save you, right? We're going to make things safe for you. Elizabeth Warren did this with the banks. Big banks, we're going to come save you. So they created regulations which actually destroyed 2,000 small banks and emboldened the big banks. The trucking industry, we're going to save you, small truckers. Well, now they monitor all the truckers, the big truckers do well. Medical, the doctor movement. Small doctor graduates who want to help young, directly people. Well, they put so much regulation, that doctor needs 3 or 4 administrators. So he's got to go in a big hospital. And that's what this guy Kennedy's about. I want a great vaccine, safe vaccine. But there is no freaking safe vaccine. Because everyone is different. But what it will do is to get more government regulation. And the bottom line when it comes to health is this. Health comes when you take responsibility for your health. Let's be honest here. Hippocrates, the father of medicine, said, he who is not his own doctor is a fool. Okay? It's not going to come top down. It's going to come from you choosing the right doctor, figuring out what's right for you. At least 80% of the problem. I'm not talking about God forbid you got involved in a horrible accident. You need the surgery, you need all that stuff, right? But most of it is going to come from you figuring out what's right for you. That means health sovereignty, health freedom. And that's why the health and the true freedom and health thing is about. Well, how do we get to health? Well, you got to have the right science, which means you need truth. And in order to get the truth, you need to have freedom. Well, how do you get freedom? You need to have the ability for all of us to talk. Well, when you have big tech, which is controlling debate on the internet, it's not going to happen. So I have a digital rights act. You can go see about it. It's a real solution to make sure it's not about regulating them. It's to make sure that the Postal Service, which was not just about postal mail, but about communications, does its job. That's how we allow us to maintain communication. How do we get the truth? We got to make sure those academics, those people up on top who are controlling science, if any one of us funds those academic institutions, when they do experiments, they must share their data with all of us. All of us. As you know, about 2 months ago, there was an article that came out in Lancet saying that hydroxychloroquine was dangerous. You remember this? Yeah. People said, well, where's the data? There was no data. They retracted the article. This is what happens every day in science. About 60% of those academics should all be thrown in jail because they are all part of creating fake science now, pay to play. And the journalists simply cut and paste. So the fake news beyond fake news is not just fake news, it's fake science. And I can say that with confidence because I've been around among those people. So in closing, what I want to let everyone know is if we want to get to health, we need truth. Citizen Science Act, you can read it. In order to get to that, we need digital rights. And then finally, you can see we have a Health Rights Act. In order to get health, it's us reestablishing our relationship with our practitioners one-on-one, not top-down. That's why this movement's so powerful. It's truth, freedom, and health. Truth, freedom, and health. Truth, freedom, and health. Truth,
Freedom and health. Truth, freedom and health. Truth, freedom and health. Truth, freedom and health. Truth, freedom and health. Truth, freedom and health. Truth, freedom and health. Freedom and health. Truth, freedom and health. Truth, freedom and health.
If we do not compromise, you got to select your leaders bottoms up. That's why this campaign is not just a Senate campaign, it's your movement. In me, you have someone who will not only fight for you, but who will inspire a movement, to inspire all of you. It's not just about sitting there in the Senate, in their gyms and hanging out with them for 6 years. No, we're going to raise hell for the next 6 years. Yeah. That's what we're going to do. The way we're going to do that is September 1 primary. The September 1st primary. Remember, Charlie Baker, our real enemy is the mass GOP establishment. They do not want any of you voting in the primary. They have to fix it for some fool, for a designated loser who will lose to Kennedy or Markey. That's the way they're constructed. But to win, we must all get out and vote in the September 1st primary. And then not only you, but you got to get at least 10 of your friends to vote. We need to give them a resounding defeat. Not just a little defeat, but a big defeat. Okay? A massive defeat. Because that's how we meet the establishment. And then we begin our movement. Then we go after Markey or Kennedy. That's going to be easy, by the way. Seriously. That's going to be really easy. And I can talk more about that. But let's win. It's time for us to win. It's time for one of us, not one of them. Woo! And that's what you have. All right? We got to win. We got to win. You said you want to pass? Yeah. We got to win. We got to win. I can take a few questions, but I want to let you know, Jennifer has some gifts for people. As I mentioned, tomorrow, August 30th is the anniversary of the invention of email. I created the first email system, it's a fact, in a medical school when I was a 14-year-old kid because I was researching sudden infant death syndrome while babies were dying in the streets. I got a full-time job as a research fellow while I was 14. I was very interested in integrated computing and biology, medicine. And while I was at this medical school, I was asked to convert the old-fashioned interoffice mail system. You remember that? The inbox, the outbox, the folders, all those things, to the electronic version. And I wrote 50,000 lines of code, and I named that system email, capturing every one of those features. I'm not talking about simple text messaging. I'm talking about the entire system. And then I got the first U.S. copyright on August 30th, 1982 as a 17-year-old kid. I still got all the paperwork. And on August 30th, 1982, the U.S. Copyright Office issued me the copyright, recognizing me as the inventor of email. I didn't talk a lot about it, but about 5-6 years ago, I went into the Smithsonian, and it created a lot of problems for people because they could not agree that email was created in Newark, New Jersey, in a small working class town, not at MIT. But those are the facts. So we have, thank you, so we have the original copyright certificate. Those of you want it as a gift, I'll autograph it for you. It's here today. Okay? You want it? Yes. And everyone get a lawn sign. We have some t-shirts. But Worcester is a great place to begin movement, because this is the working class center of Massachusetts. It really is. So I want to thank everyone for coming out today. And if you have any questions, I can take one or two, or I can do it afterwards. But I think we got to get going, right, Jen?
Yeah, we gotta go.
Okay, but thank you so much. We got to win. This is your movement. You have a historic opportunity. You got to win for yourself, okay? No more, don't take any more abuse, okay? Promise? No more. No more being abused by misleaders and the not so obvious establishment. Thank you, everyone. Be well, be polite.